Good evening, everyone, and particularly my good friend Srikanth Nair and all the distinguished people here at the 24 News Business Conclave. I think it's a wonderful initiative. And I particularly say this because we know 24 News has established itself as one of the principal, if not the principal, channels in our state. And at the same time, Kerala is finally overcoming its reputation of being a not terribly hospitable place to business, and the state is changing so much for the better. What I've been very interested to see, and I've been doing a little bit of research, which is why I have my phone open here, is how startups in Kerala have really begun to transform the landscape. We are seeing, there's a report called the 2024 Global Startup Ecosystem Report, which analyzed data from over 4.5 million companies across 300 entrepreneurial innovation ecosystems, and has found the space to praise Kerala for having forged a startup ecosystem that late last year, at the end of an 18-month period, was valued at a whopping $1.7 billion, 5 times more than the global average during the same period. Now, this for me is very good news. As you all know, I've been a critic of the business system or lack of it in Kerala. The ecosystem I've often found unfriendly to business. And so the big headline news for me from what has been happening over the last couple of years is that Kerala is genuinely open to business. What I'm seeing now is that between July 2021 and December 2023, while the worldwide average growth in startups was 46%, we in Kerala recorded a stunning 254% compounded annual growth rate. A phenomenal fact, and I suspect this has a lot to do with Keralites' inherent ability to innovate and to inspire. In fact, we want Kerala, and I say we speaking for myself, but I think for most right-minded Malayalis, and certainly for the young people I speak to, we want Kerala to rapidly emerge as an epicenter of entrepreneurship. We haven't been that. In fact, I often had occasion to make the sad remark that whereas many states in India have experienced farmer suicides, Kerala is the only state to have experienced investor suicides. As in 2 cases in the last decade, people who have brought their life savings to our state, sunk them into businesses, have found themselves so thwarted and frustrated that having lost their life savings here, they've ended their lives. And this has been a sad and salutary story. I was telling somebody just the other day about my experience after leaving the United Nations and not yet having come into politics. I tried to help Kerala to attract some investors. On my own, I hosted a dinner in New York for about 40 investors for the then Industries Minister, Elamaram Karim, of the Achudanandan government, who came to New York. I hosted this dinner for him. It was not at the government of Kerala's expense or the taxpayers' expense, but merely this Malayali wanting to help a Malayali business environment to prosper. But the sad news was, after all of that, not one single attendee invested. And I decided to call a few of them, particularly the Marunaran Malayalis amongst them, asking why, after hearing such a positive presentation, they could not invest. And the sad news at that time was that they were simply not prepared to give Kerala the benefit of the doubt. The reputation we had developed, not as God's own country, but as the devil's own playground for business, was something which unfortunately preceded us at that time. Today, as I've said, the good news is we have transformed everything, and in a country which itself is becoming more entrepreneurial. You know that India has built 26 unicorns in fintech alone. It's been quite remarkable. Our unicorns in India are valued at $90 billion. But that Kerala now has a startup ecosystem valued even at $1.7 billion is no small thing. In fact, it's the opposite of what we have come to expect of Kerala. So I want to congratulate Srikanth Nair and News 24 on having established the idea of a business conclave firmly in our imagination. As Kerala becomes more friendly for business, as businesses keep growing, as more opportunities expand, And as our entrepreneurial ecosystem takes off, I'm convinced that our state will stand out as a model for innovation and sustainable growth. I say sustainable because Kerala is one state with an enormous amount of respect for the environment. And if we can grow while preserving and protecting our environment with our strong capacity for innovation and taking of economic initiatives, we can be the dynamic center for startups that I've always argued Kerala has the capacity to be. I do believe that our startup ecosystem, which has already experienced impressive valuations, as I mentioned to you, and has shown a capacity for rapid scaling up, if we can actually become a key player in India's economic ascent and a recognized leader in fostering entrepreneurial excellence, then Kerala will have a different song to sing in the Indian economic narrative. I'll end with some brief figures which I think are instructive for all of us. In 2023, startups in Kerala raised $33.2 million, which is a 15% increase from the previous year. And seed stage funding has gone up by 40%. The Kerala Startup Mission has been promising, at least I've got government information, that they are flourishing, and they have particularly moved into deep tech. The $180 million emerging technology hub that we are now creating at the Techno City in Trivandrum to complement the Techno Park, which I've been very proud to be associated with. When I became MP for Thiruvananthapuram, Techno Park had only about 17,000 employees. Today it's about 75,000. It's full to the brim. 3 phases have developed, and now Techno City is coming up just down the road from there. As a result, the higher ranking that I mentioned, we've earned in the Global Startup Ecosystem Report. The talent we have in Malayali brains, too many of which can be found in Bangalore and not enough in Thiruvananthapuram and Kochi, all of this suggests to me that we will have a great, promising future ahead. As Thiruvananthapuram MP, also let me mention the Digital Science Park that is coming up. It's a huge $180 million initiative, multidisciplinary initiative. When that science park comes up, there'll be a lot for all of you to come and visit. I really hope that with this, Kerala will be well positioned to continue leading India's tech and entrepreneurial transformation. I very much believe that's linked to attracting more investment and to attracting and providing more employment. And I have argued there's a lot more we could be doing. I've talked about the need for an Investor Protection Act to reassure the still skeptical investors that Kerala is a place that is safe for their money. I've talked about the need to overhaul a number of our laws, including the IT Act of Kerala, which is hopelessly out of date. There are things we need to do, but if we get our act together, the sky's the limit. And I want to say that News 24 should be the channel that showcases all that's happening in the business environment and demonstrates once again that Kerala has a future, and it's not just tourism, it's not just Ayurveda, it's not just selling spices, it is about business for the 21st century. With those words, I want to congratulate News 24 and all those associated with this business conclave. I understand I was supposed to be the Udgharagan. I suppose it's too late for that, to declare it formally inaugurated when it's actually over. But I hope that all of you have had a very good day of discussions. Apologies for my late arrival, which is a tribute to the thriving traffic congestion of our state. But I'm delighted to be with all of you, and I wish you a successful conclusion to the conclave. Namaskaram, Nandi, Jai Hind.
Just a moment. So I welcome Sri Srikantan Nair,